Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Waveku Gurren Lagann channel. In today's video, we are going to be covering star ups. That's right, how to star up your characters in the game, what is the benefit of starring up your characters, how it works, the fact that you can get any of these characters that you have in your box up to 5-star or technically higher. As you can see, I got my boy at red 1 star, I guess you would technically call that, even though obviously he is a 5-star. So let's talk about it. If you have played any other gacha games before, you're probably familiar that some gacha games that have a star system sometimes have a system like this in place, where you can basically star up your units. Obviously, if you get a 5-star and you get a duplicate of that 5-star, you can feed it in to raise their star level, right? An example of that is this guy right here. You can see that he is 1 red star because I've already previously fed in a dupe of him. We will also be doing that again today. Ooh, I'm running out of battery. I gotta record this video quick. As you can see, I have King Kitan here, right? And I actually pulled a dupe of him in my summoning video, which you should definitely go check that video out. But I also have a bunch of other dupes of King Kitan. You can see a bunch of 3-stars and stuff like that. A bunch of dupes of these lower gunmen right here, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and actually star some characters up here, right? This is pretty cool because I will say there is actually a quick add feature. So what you can do instead of doing this manually is if you click quick add, it will basically pick the essentially like all the characters that it detects that you could start up with dupes, and it will feed them in for you, which is really nice because that means that you don't have to basically, you know, obviously do it manually, which is super nice. Now, I will say I would just be careful when you're doing this, right? Look over the characters that it is feeding in for the dupes before you actually do this, because I have had situations before where when I'm trying to just check, right, how the stars work or if certain characters can use other characters, because like for example, right, before we actually just do the auto, if we go to, I think Gurren will be a good example. Yeah, as you can see here, right, I can technically use Gurren, and I can also use a copy of King Kitan to star enhance them, right? That is something that you can do that's kind of interesting, right, that you don't necessarily need the same gunman. But I do believe that for the actual 5-star units, like let's click on the 5-star King Kitan. Yeah, it looks like you need an actual 5-star King Kitan to be able to do that, right, as you can see there. How does it work? Let's see, for like 3 stars. Okay, so you still need Gurren Laganns specifically, or well, Laganns actually. It's kind of interesting to me then that some characters seem to work like that. Like, let's see. Okay, so I guess if it's just a question mark, right, then you can use any 4-star unit to be able to feed in, right? Or, oh, you know what it is? It's their element. As you can see here, this guy seems to be an earth type, right? And you can see that I have 2 4-star earth type gunmen, both of which I don't even think are the same one. Yeah, and so you can actually feed those in for the 4-star. So I'm wondering then, how does that work? This is obviously the characters that have it, right? That have the ability to get starred up, because it just doesn't show them on this menu if you can't star them up, right? Which kind of makes sense. Obviously, my characters that, you know, I have on my box, right, that obviously, you know, can't get starred up, weren't displayed here. You could see those from before. Regular Gurren Lagann, you know, Dai Gurren, right? All those guys, right? But that is kind of interesting that that is the way that this works. So if you have, you know, 2 fire types, then of course you could feed that in like that. So let's actually just do the auto add to kind of see how this works. So obviously we're feeding in, I don't know the names of all the ones that aren't really the main characters, because I mean, obviously they're just kind of like background characters or the name of the gunman specifically. But our main attraction here is kind of King Kitan, obviously. We did pull 2, or I guess we have 1 dupe of him rather, but I believe we will actually be able to dupe him up more maybe, because as you can see here, we're going to be making 2 4-star King Kitans. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. Actually 3, I didn't even see that one. Also, what's interesting is I pulled 3 of this guy right here, right? So 3 5-star versions of him. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. I'm assuming I'm probably going to need another red star version of him to be able to feed in the dupe. We do have Gurren Lagann. The one thing that I will say before I do this, because I know I'm kind of teasing you with, you know, doing this, by the way, is I just want to kind of point this out. as something good to remember when you are doing this with your characters, right? So as you can see, right, there is a little lock button right here. This is where you can lock your characters, right? If you lock your characters, that will make it so that they basically can't get fed in, right? So obviously, if you have a dupe and you don't want it to get fed in for some reason, or, you know, obviously maybe there's a couple of 4 stars that you're saving for a specific reason or something like that, or you want one of these guys to kind of be the de facto one, that will obviously be like the one that you're going to be leveling up, you can lock them and then it will automatically feed it into them, which is pretty cool. So like, let's use this as an example, right? Let's make him level 2 just for the sake of this video, right? When we do the star up here, and then if we do the quick add, right, and we scroll down to him, Kinky Tom was level 1. I probably should have just done him, but you can see there that the level 2 one is the one that's getting the do fed into, because obviously the level 2 one is going to be the one that it spits out as the result. So let's go ahead and hit the confirm button, and bam, all of these characters now have their stars up, which is really, really cool. Obviously, this boosts their stats and whatnot, and of course, just makes your characters more powerful in general. So that's pretty cool, and I believe, can we? Okay, so smart enhance, let's see. So we can literally do this again, which is kind of crazy. And here you can see a very good example of this, right? So what it's trying to do now is take the specific, right, like versions of these characters that we have. Obviously you can see my my Gurren is level 80, but I don't have any more Gurren dupes. But of course, because I have all these dupes of King Kitan, it is trying to basically, you know, feed them into him. So this is something that's like, if you wouldn't want this to happen, or obviously you don't want to get rid of certain dupes, right, and maybe you want to use them for another character, then of course maybe you don't want to do the auto. So let's actually see then. I'm a little bit curious. So my level 80 Gurren, right, let's take a look at him. Please select. Okay, so obviously we have one dupe of Gurren right now, and we have 4 King Kitons. So I'm kind of curious then. Obviously we can't star up King Kitan, but I would think that if we... Oh, okay, so that makes sense, right? Oh, we can... Wait, can we feed him in? Yeah, okay, perfect. I was gonna say, I know for a fact that you're not supposed to be able to. It was just weird that he shows up on the menu. But yeah, as you can see there, if you click on the boy, obviously, he's locked, so you can't feed him in. But if we put in 2 more, then obviously this will make a 5-star one, and would technically then get us a little bit closer to getting another dupe of the 5-star one. But then that kind of leads us in a weird spot. Obviously I will be summoning more, but then that leaves us with 1 King Kitan left to feed into the dupes, right? And of course, once the character is this star level, right, as you can see, like right here, we'll use our King Kitan for an example. Because he is now red star, you have to feed in another red star one to be able to star him up. So definitely keep that in mind when you are starring your units. Definitely be careful when you're doing this type of thing. I think for now, I am just going to kind of wait until I pull a couple more copies. I know that it's probably a little bit silly to do this, because realistically speaking, this is probably a fine idea, considering that Gurren and Kitan, right, King Kitan's Gunmen, are the same type. It doesn't really matter if I feed these Kitons in now, right, and then obviously get a dupe for Gurren. Honestly, that probably might be the better way to go, because then I could get my Gurren up to red 1. Actually, I think I will do that, because since they're the same type, I can just feed them into each other either way and then star them up regardless. I don't know if I want to feed in my Gurrens, though. Or my Lagans, rather. Only because I would kind of rather save those to actually star up Lagann himself. So let's see, this is my level 81. Okay, so I could do this. Oh, I actually can just do this. Hold on. Yeah, why not? I'm surprised that the auto didn't do it this way, because these guys are all wind characters, right? So this is how you do it manually then, if you want to do it like this. Right now you can see that my Lagann will now be a 5-star, which is definitely what I would rather do, rather than feeding him into the other character. But since we only have 1 Gurren, I think I will do this Because honestly, the other characters I don't really care too much about, right? Besides like Gurren in the main cast, because obviously like goated, and of course I'm playing the Gurren Lagann Gacha game, so that's what I, you know, want to do, right? But let's go ahead and do this then, and then I think we should actually... Oh wow, we even got some XP for doing that. Okay. We should be able to now, right? Quick add. Let's see. So now we can dupe up these guys. That's good that it's not feeding in any of our big boy units, because obviously we wouldn't want that to happen. But yeah, now we have a red star Gurren, which is pretty cool. I did not expect to get them that high, honestly. And now you can see, now that there's no characters that you can actually star up, you can see that now that that option isn't even there, right? So of course, when it comes to this high level, right, you actually need a duplicate of the specific character, like I was talking about before. And let's click on like our Gurren right there. Wow, okay, we actually need 2 red stars. Interesting for Gurren, it seems that we could actually use that red King Kitan, right, that we have there. But let's see, for a character like Lagann, yeah, you need Lagann. So it seems like that the characters that start off at 5-star need a copy of themselves, while the characters that basically can be lower star amounts can just use any character of their type. I think that is really interesting, to be honest with you. That is pretty cool. But yeah, so I don't think I want to feed in my King Kitan, to be honest with you, because I, you know, would obviously rather have like the 2 characters. But that is basically it for how the star system works. It is really not too complicated, and I think that that is honestly something really, really cool about this game, that any character can be a 5-star. So obviously, if any of these miscellaneous gunmen are your favorite character, right, as long as you keep pulling dupes of him, you can eventually get them up to 5-star and even red star 1. It'll be really cool when I end up getting some more dupes. Obviously, as I summon, I'm going to be hoping for more 4-star fire characters to eventually be able to get my boys up even further. I'm assuming probably the 4-star units will end up being the ones that become super powerful on your team, because it'll be easier to get dupes of them, which is kind of interesting to think about, that technically they might be better than some of the 5-stars. In stat-wise, I suppose. Obviously, in terms of their kit, right? That would be something you would need to take a look at, excuse me. But obviously, it's easier to get stars because there's more dupes with the lower star amounts. But that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, what is the highest star count you have in this game right now. I am actually very excited from doing all those summons, having all these 5-star characters. I really got to start working and getting some more EXP materials. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Waveku out. Peace.